Yo, welcome to the show. I'm your man Smitty, here for another episode of the Fantasy Football Show live. We're doing it live. And boy, do we have a lot of little tiny pieces of news out there that can help all of you win your fantasy football championships or avoid disaster. We're going to break down some of the news and notes and nuggets around the NFL. I mean, it's technically slow, I guess, in general in terms of news, but we're going to go ahead and talk about a couple things I've been talking about for quite some time now. Deandre Swift, everybody's so mad at me. Smitty, how can you say bad things about Deandre Swift? Look, it's getting worse. Are you believing yet that this is one of the bigger avoids in 2021 for fantasy football? Or are you plain and simple a Deandre Swift dynasty owner and you're refusing to accept what's going on here? You're literally, you got blinders on. You got Deandre Swift goggles on, and you literally just see that this guy is talented, and you have no ability to look at the logic or the amount of red flags stacked against Deandre Swift. It's not one thing. It's 10. It's injury risk. If you want to throw that one out, I'm fine with that. Okay? You've got the fact that they dismantled most of the talent. How are they going to move the football down the field? I don't care if you're going to throw the football a ton in the third and fourth quarter and you feel Swift will get peppered with targets. Doesn't matter. You've got to make completions. You've got to move the chains. You've got to get in scoring position. This team will not move the ball down the field. And they will not get in the red zone. They will probably win 1, 2, maybe 3 games in 2021. You lose your starting quarterback. You get a lesser quarterback back when your starting quarterback was unable to command this offense or this team efficiently, and he's supposedly this amazing quarterback in Matthew Stafford that's going to the Rams, taking the Rams potentially the distance is what a lot of people are saying. So if Stafford's that good and he couldn't do it over in Detroit, what makes anyone think Goff coming over with no rapport is going to have any kind of success in Detroit? Galladay's gone. Hawkinson needs to develop a new rapport with his quarterback. Everybody's super high on Hawkinson. No one was higher on Hawkinson than I was. But now you have a whole different scenario for him. And rapport needs to be built between Goff and Hawkinson. Chains won't be moved. Anthony Lynn, offensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions, has already said that his A-back is not Deandre Swift. His A-back is Jamal Williams. His B-back, his speed back, is Deandre Swift. And another report today surfacing here that they're going to ride the hot hand at running back on game day. If you go into the game and you're balling, you're going to stay in there. Now, I can tell you exactly what the Deandre Swift owner is going to say. Here comes Billy Boy 27 on Facebook. Schmitty! Whoa. Schmitty! Whoa. Uh-oh. There we go.
We had the settings wrong.
Billy
Boy 27 says, Schmitty, okay, I understand what you're saying here, but I reject every single red flag that you presented today because of two things. One, I like Deandre Swift and I own him in a dynasty league. Number 2, Smitty, this guy is so talented, I think this will be him. Right here. What Lynn is describing will be Deandre Swift. He'll be balling. It'll be okay.
Cross your fingers and trust your gut. Whoa. Sorry. There's only three buttons on here. Like, what am I getting wrong? Trust your gut. If Swift's your boy, by all means, have at it. Draft him at 3.1. I don't care. See if I care. I actually will enjoy it. I will enjoy everyone that takes Deandre Swift before Mahomes, before Clyde Edwards-Helaire, before the newly doubted Gibson. Give me Antonio Gibson and his toe, and the worry around his toe over Deandre Swift. Why is Deandre Swift such a high-cost commodity when you have nothing going for you but talent that you think is there, that you believe will somehow shine through? Tell me how it's going to shine through when the Lions haven't had any success at running back since Barry Sanders and maybe 1 year of Reggie Bush, which vanished as quickly as it appeared. That's it. That's all you have. And for everybody that says Swift is different, Kerryon Johnson, I know your memory's foggy. Hit the thumbs up on your way in the door. I know you picture this differently if you're a Swift owner. But believe it or not, I know this is going to be really hard for you to hear if you're a Swift believer and a truther right now. Kerryon Johnson was higher touted going into his second year than Swift is going into this 2021 season. You may be like, no. Hold on, Smitty. Kerryon Johnson was a first-round pick. Swift is a third-round pick. Kerryon Johnson, heading into his bust year, everybody and their mother thought, this is it. This is it. Things are a-changing. Deandre Swift, or Kerryon Johnson, will be the guy that turns everything around and bucks the trend that has been cursing the Lions since Barry Sanders. Kerryon Johnson's going to be the man. He's so good. He's so good. Swift is no different. Swift is talented. I know everybody wants him to be the guy. I know he has the talent in the right situation to be a good running back in the NFL. But it will not happen. It will not happen. But what does Kerryon have to do with Swift? Noah, are you not listening, Noah? It has everything to do with it. People thought that the trend would break, that the way the Lions run their organization would cater to finally having a return of the running back in Kerryon Johnson. And it didn't work, bro. It didn't work with Kerryon. It's not going to work with Swift. You have this team completely dismantled. They won't move the football down the field. And you have an offensive coordinator, Noah, who is telling you almost on a daily basis that I don't know that Swift's the guy. Like, who thinks that Swift's going to change Anthony Lynn's mind? Anthony Lynn is going out of his way to ignore that Deandre Swift's the best and most talented running back on the roster. If you ask me, is Swift the most talented running back on the roster? My answer is yes, by a lot. But you can't tell me Anthony Lynn feels the same way, because everything out of his mouth is, I like Jamal Williams as my A-back. I'm going to roll with the hot hand. I love both the running backs. My number one A-back running back's Williams. I like the speed guy over here, Swift. Maybe we'll get him in the rotation. Oh, my God. Okay. You guys trust Swift if you want. But Noah, he's yours, bro. He's yours. I got great news for you, Noah. He's going to continue to fall down and down and down. And to answer this question, it's David Montgomery all day long. David Montgomery over Swift all day long. Williams isn't even that good, says media. And media, you're not wrong, bro. You're not. It sucks. It's too bad. It is too bad. Let's loop this song so I don't have to keep pressing the damn button. Okay, I need to get this link out to a few people because we may have some surprise guests today. We may not. It always kind of depends. Let me send this out to a couple of my boys and see if they want to get in on it. Let me send it to my quad box people. And let me send this to... let's send this to Ryan Hollins. I was on his show right before I came on here. Let's see if Ryan Hollins wants to stop by. And then I need to send this to my boy Rob. And so we should have, between one of those guys, we should be having somebody pop in. So it'll be an interesting day. Let's break down more news. I've got a little nugget for you. This one's kind of exciting just because I like talking about the guy. But Dallas Morning News talking about wide receiver CeeDee Lamb. Can we get a bell ring? CeeDee motherfreaking Lamb season. It's CeeDee season, baby. And this guy's going to be a top 5 wide receiver. Mark my words. Mark it down. Mark it down. Bro, Monty is like a couple rounds after Swift. Noah. No one understands where some of this comes from with you, bro. What are you talking about? Monty's a couple rounds after Swift. Monty's a 3rd or 4th round running back. Swift is a 3rd or 4th round running. Noah! Positivity. Holy smokes. Noah says, let's go CeeDee. That's the most positive thing Noah's ever said on the show. But Noah needs to take like 8 laps.
Take a lap. Take a.
This is for Noah.
Take a lap.
This one's for Noah too.
Take a.
Take a lap. Take a lap. Take a lap. Take a lap.
Noah, I'm doing all this for you.
Take a lap.
It's for everything you've said today. That's just getting started. Monty isn't a couple rounds after Swift. What drafts are you in, Noah? Send us the links, bro. Bro, Monty was literally the biggest bust for the first half of the season, and all of a sudden, he's the 3rd rounder. Noah, he's the number 4 scoring running back in fantasy football last year. Somebody give Noah a calculator and a link to some 2020 statistics. Oh, Noah. I know Noah's not trolling. Let me make something clear. Noah is not trolling. This isn't a troller trying to get a rise. This is Noah. This is the Noah that we know. Oh, Ian. I know Ian's not a troll. Ian's my boy. But Ian. Bro. Oh, no. Here it is. Ian, come on, bro. Bro. You know you and I we're solid, bro. But this...
Take a lap. Take a lap.
Come on, bro.
Take a lap.
That's about the most insulting thing anybody's even said to me in the last year and a half, and that includes all of Noah's comments combined. No one had, so it's excuse time. Noah says, yeah, no one had an easier schedule second half than Monty. You can continue to throw excuses left and right, Noah, but Monty is a safer pick than Deandre Swift. It's just the way it is. As for Lamb, sidetracking me, Noah, Lamb is going to ball. Lamb is going to ball. He's going to ball, man. I can't wait to have CeeDee Lamb season in every single one of my leagues. I don't put all my eggs in one basket very often, but when I do, it's CeeDee Lamb, baby. It's CeeDee Lamb. Lamb all day. Says Chad. Chad's got a massive brain. Who cares if they had an easier schedule? Derrick Henry had a pretty damn easy schedule and still had like 80 yards against the Packers and no TDs. Adams got a massive brain. Noah says, ask anyone who's better, Monty or Swift, and everybody will say Swift, not even close. Okay. Let's try it. Okay. Noah says, ask anyone who's better, Monty or Swift. In the chat. Please fill the chat up. I'm going to put every single comment on screen. Monty. 1-0, bro. I was going to do a tally. Monty. Okay, so Monty. Here's one Swift. Media says Swift. So far, we're 2-2. We're asking everybody, bro. 2-2. Ask anyone who's better, Monty or Swift, and everyone will say Swift. Not even close. There's a Swift vote. Swift, but it's close. Swift. Now here's the excuse again. Yeah, more people saying Swift. LOL. Noah, Noah says one thing, then goes in another direction. You refute Noah or prove him wrong. He just bounces off you and goes in a different direction. Everyone will say. Monty. Here's another Monty vote. Oh, yeah. It's getting out of control, bro. Okay, so far we have 1, 2, 3 versus. Okay, 4 versus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. So what did Noah say? Told you, not even close. Noah, you're wrong 90% of the time. You're wrong. It is close. now Monty is tied it. And you know what? I haven't voted yet. So Monty's winning. Okay, now you got the lead back. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to 6, Noah. You're crushing me, bro. Sean voted Swift. Noah, I'm sorry. Did I leave one out of your complete lambasting of this situation? Here, I'll put it there. Sean voted Swift. There you go, Noah. Keep it coming. Monty or Swift? Vote, because Noah says ask anyone who's better, and everyone will say Swift. Not even close. Okay, I think we're done. Noah, you crack me up, though. You crack me up, Noah. Your negativity gets the best of you, but it definitely, it's an enjoyable time here. It's all enjoyable on this side of the table. It's like almost a dead tie. I want to hear about Lamb. All right. CeeDee Lamb. Let me tell you about Lamb, Chad. Lamb's going to drop a top 1 to 5 wide receiver season on him. If he did not have Dak go down, you would have been talking about Lamb and Jefferson having very similar breakout seasons. He was on fire up until the point Dak went down. And Lamb, in my opinion, will probably drop. Let's do some Lamb yardage predictions. So if we take a look at CeeDee Lamb, let's look at his 20. Let's try and do some Lamb predictions. If we look at CeeDee Lamb and we look at his game log, and I know we can't extrapolate everything and it be fact. Like you gotta take into account that, you know, when you look at a small sample size, you're not going to see that exact extrapolation come out. But let's say 59. So let's go ahead and add 59 plus 106. Whoops. 59. Let me clear off. Plus 106. Plus 65. Plus 79. Plus 124. So that's in 5 games. You divide that by 5. That's 86 a game. Multiply that by 16. 1385. Plus another 86 for the extra game. That's 1471. So according to this top 5 weeks of the season, from weeks 1 through 5, he would be at, I'm gonna lowball it, 41 yards receiving, 1400 yards receiving is my expectation for CeeDee Lamb based off of looking at his weeks 1 through 5 as a rookie, mind you. I think it's pretty safe to extrapolate weeks 1 through 5 when we're talking about a rookie season. I'm okay with that. That doesn't concern me. We can stretch that. What are you guys arguing about in the chat? Okay. Now let's look at the touchdowns. He had 2 TDs in that 5-week span. Even if we just took 2 TDs times, actually 2 divided by 5 times 17 is 6.8. I'm going to say we can safely call CeeDee Lamb a 10 TD guy. 10 to 12 TDs. Receptions in the first 5 games. CeeDee Lamb as a rookie, 7 plus 9 plus 7 plus 7 plus 11. Oh, I'm sorry, targets. I'm doing targets. What am I doing? 5 plus 6 plus 5 plus 5 plus 8. His targets were insane, though. Divided by 5 times 17 is... What am I doing here? 5 plus 6 plus 5 plus 5 plus 8. Divided by 5 times 17 is 98 receptions. That seems fair. So we'll call it 98 receptions for 1,400 yards and 12 TDs. That's what I project for CeeDee Lamb in 2021. 98 receptions for 1,400 yards and 10 to 12 TDs. I like it. I like it. Anybody object to those CeeDee Lamb projections before we close the case? Speak now or forever hold your fantasy peace. Lamb, 14, 98, 10 to 12 TDs. Sold. Okay, let me see what other news I can pop on here. I did a couple updates here. I will throw these news items onto the screen here for you, and we will discuss them. Item number 1. Michael Carter. Michael Carter. Boy, do I like Michael Carter. There we go. Okay, after observing Wednesday's OTA, The Athletic is reporting that it is believed that it won't be long before fourth rounder Michael Carter is the Jets' lead back. First of all, I think it happens really fast. I do. But even if there's some kind of rotation moving this guy up into a full-time capacity, Michael Carter is probably, assuming he doesn't botch the opportunity, probably in the best scenario for the running backs in 2021. Now, long-term, who knows? But I think in 2021, this guy will get the volume. I think Zach Wilson will be better as a rookie than people understand. I think Zach Wilson will feed this guy both. The Jets will feed him both in the run and the pass, and Zach Wilson will feed him and pepper him with PPR production. This guy's a good receiving back to begin with, one of the better receiving backs in the draft class. So to find a home where you do have the opportunity to have a much improved rushing attack where they can lean on one guy and offensive pieces that weren't there in the past. So you can't compare the old Jets to the new Jets and say the Jets never run the football well. The Jets never use the running backs. The Jets never do this. The Jets never do that. They've got Salah now as head coach. They brought over the, what's the offensive coordinator's name that they brought over from San Fran? What's his name, media? Hit me with it. This is a completely new franchise, completely new, led by a quarterback that, in my opinion, in Zach Wilson, could be a top 5 to 6 overall quarterback in 1 to 2 years. LaFleur, thank you, LaFleur. They've got a lot of amazing potential to turn this franchise around immediately. Mike LaFleur, that's correct. And they're going to run Carter a ton. They're going to throw to Carter a ton. And you know what's good about the fact that the Jets will be much improved, looking really good, turning the franchise around, very, very, very clear as day. The great part is that they probably still will be losing. And they probably still will be tossing some balls to Michael Carter. And I think Zach Wilson, being a rookie, will find some comfort in dumping off a lot to Michael Carter. So Michael Carter will get a good run At the end of the game, he can't get phased out because he's the PPR potential weapon. As I say right here, Carter, okay, this guy, Carter, this is my report, along with Trey Sermon, are the 2 steals at running back this year when it comes to this 2021 rookie draft class. Carter costs more than Sermon for now, and I predict that could change in all formats, but both have insane flex appeal with the upside that truly could extend above running back 2 value. This is poetry that I wrote right here, by the way, on my newswire at sleeperu.com. Sleeper, the letter U like a university.com. Get on over there to my newswire. This is poetry. It's poetry. It's beautiful. It reads beautifully. Carter is an ultra-talented dual threat that has an understated advantage of maturing alongside a rookie QB named Zach Wilson. They will build rapport. What I mean by that is that Carter is in a unique situation, as is Trey Sermon, as is ETN, which is very interesting when you think about the ETN rookie quarterback. So Lawrence, ETN. You have Trey Sermon, Trey Lance. You have Michael Carter and Zach Wilson. That's very, very unique to have 3 running backs along with 3 rookie quarterbacks that are all going to be phenomenal in their own right. Lawrence and Trey Lance and Zach Wilson all could be top 7 quarterbacks in the NFL in 1 to 2 calendar years. I truly believe that. These are magical quarterbacks or situations combined, and we will have Trey Lance in a unique situation to develop and produce very quickly. We have Trevor Lawrence, I believe, has the pedigree to be a top 5 quarterback, and he will change the situation single-handedly if he has to, and same thing with Zach Wilson. Trey Lance was not on the exact same level talent-wise to me as Wilson and Lawrence, but his situation puts him right back in the same level playing field in terms of what you're actually getting fantasy football production wise and what you're getting for the franchise and for the football team moving forward. I love me some Michael Carter and Trey Sermon in 2021. These are 2 of my favorite running backs to own and redraft because the cost of entry is so freaking low. You can steal them away. Michael Carter shouldn't be had at flex type value in redraft. It's criminal. And Sermon shouldn't be your 3 or 4 running back slotted player on your roster. This dude can ball. And my boy Raj, who I hope comes on soon, can tell you his prediction for Trey Sermon heading into 2021 week 1. Raji boy has a big prediction for Trey. And I'm excited. I'm excited for my boy Trey Sermon to unleash. What do we got here? Give me 30 to 40 minutes and I'll jump on. Okay. Rob's going to come on for a few. Where were we at? Next piece of news. Oh, that's the same piece of news. Green Bay, baby. Aaron Rodgers. Oh, here's the controversial one. Again, you can find all this at sleeperu.com. Get on over to smitty1.com where you can find all the links to everything. A-Rod, okay? Packers are clearing salary cap. This is according to NFL Network. The clearing of the salary cap is another indication they're planning on Aaron Rodgers returning to the team. Why? They're going to offer him a big fat contract. A big fat contract, a fatty. And they're going to set it down and they're going to say, ink this bad boy, A-Rod, and get back on the field. You know what Rodgers is going to do? He's going to take that pen, he's going to sign it, he's going to walk out, and he's going to be a top 4 to 6 quarterback in 2021 and take the Packers into, I would say, I want to put the Packers in the Final Four. Packers Final Four in 2021. Chew on that. You know why? A-Rod lives in drama. A-Rod, this is his wheelhouse. This is where A-Rod resides. His abode is in drama. He lives inside drama. Casa de Drama is what A-Rod is about. And if anybody thinks this whole situation's gonna disrupt his plan of dropping yet another MVP type season, you got another thing coming. And Aaron Jones was retained. They've got Dylan in case something happens to Jones. They may use both. They've got a guy in Bobby Boy Tunyon who dropped 11 TDs in 2021. And all of you doubters of Bobby Boy Tunyon are going to be ashamed of yourself come week 1. To be honest and frank, Bobby Boy Tunyon has no business being ranked in the double-digit rounds in fantasy football drafts when he finished number 4 for all tight ends in fantasy football with 11 freaking TDs. Bobby Boy Tunyon is one of the bigger steals at the tight end position in 2021. You come to me, Tunyon sucks, says Wonk. You come to me and ask me every year, who's the breakout tight end? Who's the value grab? Last year, what did I tell you, Wonk? What did I tell you? I told you Waller. What did I tell you? I told you Hawkinson. I told you don't draft a tight end high. Draft Waller late. Draft Hawkinson late. And you would have top 2 to 4 tight ends in 2021. Did I not tell you that, Wonk? Or were you not paying attention? Maybe you're new. Maybe you're new to the channel. I don't know. But Wonk, I told you who the guys were to get last year at tight end. I made it really clear. I even put it on my top 2 bold predictions, bro. Our 12 bold predictions. My top 12 bold predictions. Hawkinson was one. Waller was another. I had 2 tight ends taking up 2 of my 12 spots in my bold predictions. Tunyon. I'm telling you now. Tunyon. Robert Boyd Tunyon, bro. Draft him. You won't be sad. Fan could break out too. You know, I like Fan. I'm not mad at Fan. All right, let's read the poetry. Where can you find the poetry? At sleeperu.com is where, or smitty1.com. That's where you'll find it. So, yours truly, Senior Smitty, says, A-Rod was never leaving. It's amazing people still ask, should I drop Davante Adams into round 2, Smitty? I don't know why people ask me this question. I don't know why people say, I'm a little worried about Adams with A-Rod. A-Rod, is there a chance that he leaves? Maybe there's something we don't know that's going on where A-Rod, took a dump on the GM's desk and just rubbed it like all into all the papers. Like did something crazy, did an upper decker in the GM's office bathroom like 365 straight days. I don't know all those details. I'm a human being. Okay? I couldn't possibly know everything. But assuming that something like that isn't hiding in the woodwork, okay? That I don't know about. A-Rod is not going anywhere. Green Bay would have traded him on draft day when Shanahan called him up and said, hey, where's my phone? It's a remote, but it'll work. Hey, this is Shanahan. I would love to potentially get A-Rod. Is he available? We're not selling A-Rod. Goodbye. Okay, we'll draft Trey Lance then. Have a good day. That's how the conversation went. The Green Bay Packers did not want to trade A-Rod at all. It wasn't even on the table. They didn't want to. They could have got the number 3 overall pick to replace A-Rod and more compensation. They said no. If anybody thinks they're going to turn that now draft capital down, which was the number 3 overall pick that they could apply and use right away to start rebuilding quickly because you got Davante Adams, you have a newly signed Aaron Jones who's not a spring chicken that you just paid a boatload of now money to, and you just came off an amazing season with the Super Bowl MVP. If you think they're now going to say, well, we should have took the 3 pick, but we're going to go ahead and trade A-Rod now and kind of take a step backwards and silly us, we should have got the 3 pick. You got another thing coming. A-Rod ain't getting traded. Could he sit out? that's a whole nother topic. I don't think he will. It's possible. He's living his best life in Hawaii. He's a Jeopardy a legend already. He can film that and play at the same time, though. It's not like an all year long filming process, so that won't take him out of the equation because he wants to do the Jeopardy show. But A-Rod may throw a curveball at us. He's a chill dude. He's not a diva. Everybody's saying A-Rod's such a diva. A-Rod's such a crazy guy, and he's always complaining and crying. He said one thing recently and hasn't said a word the entire time, but everybody keeps running their mouth for A-Rod, speaking for A-Rod, telling us what A-Rod's thinking and doing while he's chilling in Hawaii with this girl, relaxing, doing A-Rod things, and everybody's making up all this crap about him. He's a diva. He's such a crybaby. He always comes out and cries, Smitty, all the time. You haven't seen him. He hasn't talked about it at all, but one time, and he was asked when he went on ESPN to say goodbye to a good friend that tried to pry some stuff out of him. He still wasn't saying anything. He barely has said a word about it. And everybody's running their mouth about A-Rod. A-Rod ain't going anywhere. Devonta Adams should be in the first round in your fantasy draft, and if he's not, take clear advantage. Scream hallelujah and enjoy your fantasy football domination in 2021 if this guy Adams falls into the second round. Like it's ridiculous. Continuing on with the poetry that you can find at Sleeper. Let me lower this so you can see it. SleeperU.com. The Pack will give Rodgers a massive deal. He will then ink it, at which point the Pack will turn heads in the face of drama because what? I can't, hold on, let me make this bigger. My screen's so far away from me. He is at his best inside chaos. Don't be shocked if Green Bay is a Final Four team in 2021. Straight from the Newswire at SleeperU.com. And I don't know. Drop your thoughts about A-Rod in the chat. Are you guys still screaming and yelling at each other? Go check Media's page before you draft them, bozo. Noah, are you causing problems in here like usual? I don't know what you have to do in here, Noah, but just behave. Like, what is so wrong? Like, do you need a hug? Like, what is going on, bro? All right. Next up, Jamar Chase news straight from the Fantasy Football Show's Newswire at SleeperU.com or Smitty1.com. Bengals signed first round pick wide receiver Jamar Chase. Smitty, this receiver will walk into the Cincinnati lineup in 2021 at the onset and look like a second or third year player. This is fact. This is plain spitting facts right here. This analysis by this man Smitty here from SleeperU.com and Smitty1.com. Go check it out. Chase's stat line may be balanced different than Justin Jefferson's was last year, but the overall production will be similar. Jefferson had 1,400 yards and 7 TDs. Well, Chase may only get 1,100 yards. Boo-hoo. However, he will probably snag 10, 11, 12 TDs as a rookie. It's rebuild time. Fire rebuild time in Cincinnati, people. And the rebuild will be rapid. The rebuild will be rapid. Get ready. It's coming. I don't know how you guys feel about Jamar Chase. Let me put that back up on the screen, actually. I don't think we're done with Jamar. I feel like Jamar Chase is going to turn heads in a seriously crazy way. One, because of talent. Two, because he has his former college football quarterback throwing him the football. A guy I believe has top 5 to 6 QB potential, upside ability, and eventually situation. I know you don't believe that right now, many of you. The Bengals are blah, blah, blah. Look, they're turning things around. They've made big steps. Maybe they are a year away. Maybe they still need another draft to address offensive line issues coming out of 2021. I'm not an idiot, okay? I know Noah thinks differently. I honestly don't know why Noah even shows up if he hates my guts this much all the time. I really don't know, Noah. I really don't know. I do want to know. Noah, tell me why you follow me. I'll put it on screen. Tell me why do you follow me, Noah? I have no idea why you follow me. It's got to be for something. There's got to be something you like. Even something small, because I don't know why you're here every day. I don't. Everything I say you disagree with. Everything. The Bengals are in rebuild mode. It's going to happen quick. It's going to happen fast. Where do I think Ertz goes? I don't know. We'll monitor it. If he lands in a very friendly situation to his, deficits and how, what skill set he still has left, it could be a good situation or it could be a nothing burger. No, I agree on Lamb. Is that why you like me? Do you follow me because we agree on Lamb? Is that the only reason, Noah? Do you tune in and wait for Lamb content? And when Lamb content doesn't rise up and reveal itself, it's negative Nancy Noah mode until Lamb content shows up? Like, I'm just trying to figure out why you like me, Noah, at all. I don't know why you're even here. I want you here, but I don't think you want to be here. Let's see. Noah says, I'm not going to unfollow just because I disagree. 100% though? Oh, Noah. Everyone disagrees when it comes to fantasy. That's why half of us like Swift, Noah, and half of us like Montgomery, which I already proved to you. Why are you putting Lamb over Cooper in that offense? Look, Johnny, you're not crazy to like Cooper more than Lamb. You're not. You're not crazy. You're borderline take a lap, but I'm not going to drop it because anything can happen. And Cooper is a good wide receiver. He does have rapport with Dak. It just comes down to, do you believe Lamb is a top 5 wide receiver in the making? If you don't, then Cooper would be the default number 1 wide receiver in Dallas. I wouldn't blame you at all for liking that scenario to play out. But I'm telling you right now, bro, this is what I do. Lamb gives me a warm and fuzzy feeling. And Johnny, where's his comment? Johnny, you have 2 choices to make, Johnny. You can assess whether this warm and fuzzy feeling I am getting is warranted enough for you to react. Okay? Sometimes I miss, bro. It's your job, Johnny, not my job, to assess whether I'm on that warm and fuzzy track, because when I get on the warm and fuzzy track, bro, good things happen to these fantasy players. Now, sometimes I'm warm and not fuzzy, or I'm fuzzy and not warm on a player, and I'll let you know when it feels like it could go a couple different directions, bro. Like a Kenyon Drake, who I was warm on, but not fuzzy. Johnny, I'm warm and fuzzy when it comes to CeeDee Lamb, bro. It's like 10 times over. So, you do what you want. Sometimes you got to watch it happen and then come back the next year and go, damn, I should have followed your CeeDee Lamb advice, Smitty. So, Johnny, you do you. Don't listen to me until you're ready. Until you're ready, bro. But I'm going to say Jamar Chase. I love Devontae Smith. I love Jamar Chase. I love both of these bad boys. They're both to the moon, in my opinion. No, it's not rookie fever talking, because I don't love Waddle. I don't love a lot of rookies. I don't love Fields. I don't love every rookie known to man. This happens to be a very stacked, very, very stacked rookie class that, yes, the running backs have something to be desired. They leave a little, want left on the table. But Najee Harris is a beast, and if he gets fed properly and the offense can stay somewhat balanced, and maybe Najee will help keep Big Ben healthy and throwing targets left and right to his 3 wide receivers, which I believe cannot sustain. Like, you're going to have a tough time banking on one of these Steeler wide receivers, all you Deontay Johnson believers, it's going to be an inconsistent game with Big Ben. He's going to dial down the pass. His accuracy's going down the tubes, and he's going to throw an errant pass up in the direction of Claypool, who's going to have to use his go-go gadget arm to grab the football, and that's why Claypool, to me, is the most likely to thrive out of the 3 wide receivers. But Najee, back on the point, Smitty. I get so sidetracked, especially when I hear Noah over and over just posting negativity. I love Najee Harris. I love Etienne and Carter and Sermon. They're good running backs. Like, I believe this running back class can produce in the end 1, 2, 3 running backs that look as good as any running backs have in the last 10 years. Situation can repair any kind of, I don't know, deficiency a running back might have, talent-wise. Like, Arian Foster was one of the best fantasy football running backs ever. But was he really one of the most talented running backs ever? No, not even close. Arian Foster was a great combination of good, almost great running back potential with absolutely the most amazing running back situation you could find, and the fit was beautiful like that. Trey Sermon? Is Trey Sermon better than Zeke Elliott coming out of college? No. Is he better than AP was coming out of college? No. But is Trey Sermon capable of being as good as an Arian Foster on a talent level? Abso-freaking-lutely. He easily has that kind of talent level. And speaking of Arian Foster, he didn't have that breakaway, completely, massive quickness and breakaway speed. He was just a tough, amazing one-cut runner that knew how to find a hole and take the football to the house and be one of the best fantasy football running backs to ever play the freaking game. And you put a guy like Trey Sermon, who has all the intangibles and same kind of skill set as that Arian Foster had in his situation, and you put him in San Fran, and the important part, the only part we worry about at all with Trey Sermon is, will he get enough carries to be able to deliver upon the talent and situation that's colliding like a massive perfect storm? Because if Trey Sermon does get 15 carries a game, it's game over. The Niners will be unstoppable, and I'm not saying that because I have a lot of Niner followers and I'm embedded in Niner communities. I'm an unbiased person. I'm not rooting for the Niners. I'm rooting for fantasy football. I'm a fantasy football connoisseur. The Cardinals are my team, and I'd choose fantasy over the Cardinals winning. I'm a true diehard fantasy guy, first and foremost. Nothing else matters to me. It's fantasy football. It's football and fantasy football. And Trey Sermon is in such a unique position. The only thing that could stand in the way of Trey Sermon in top 5 to 10 running back numbers per start is Shanahan and how they use him. The only thing. There are no red flags at all, especially if you listen to what I say. It's Trey Sermon and it's Elijah Mitchell together. You cuff them. You don't ever even consider owning Sermon without Mitchell. You can get Mitchell in a redraft so late that your mom has to be ashamed of you if you miss out on cuffing Mitchell to Sermon. And in Dynasty, you can do it easily as well, because Mitchell's going in the second or third round, sometimes third round, easily second round. So you can trade into a second round pick. Ensure you get Sermon with Mitchell. You must own both. I am telling you right now that between the two of them, you will most likely be looking at 6 to 7 starts on the year. Shanahan could have a different plan. He could throw a wrench into that. That is why I'm saying the only red flag for Trey Sermon and Mitchell, put them together, is that they decide to do something that some people are predicting, which is never ever stop rotating and going with a hot hand. My reasoning and rationale, and media, I'll have you on for a second here to discuss this, and then we got to get back to business. So media, bring it quick, bring the fire, bring the energy. Media, I'm sending you the link. We're going to talk about Trey Sermon real quickly, and then I'm literally disconnecting the line So keep it quick. Keep it high energy. High energy, big hands. Bring it in, media. We'll talk Trey Sermon very, very, very briefly. Sermon. Let's see here. The only thing standing in the way of Trey Sermon being a top 5 to 10 running back is the commitment to using one running back to the tune of 14 to 15 carries. He doesn't need to be the full-time guy. San Fran is the number 1, number 2, number 3 rushing offense in the NFL. You don't need one guy. What you need is just enough carries that amounts to about 14, 15 carries. Media, this is 49er media. Media, how many carries do you think Sermon will get once he is considered to be the lead top dog?
So I mean, the thing is, the Niners obviously run the ball a lot more. That's what their bread and butter is on the offense, and so I think once Sermon, they'll probably start him off pretty slowly, but when he actually does start to become the leading back, I think probably 20 to maybe even 30 carries. Just
30 carries? Media!
The
man
Niners
can't
run the
live
ball.
off 30. He'll fall apart if he gets 30 carries a game. But just tell me
But
this.
I mean, I think that some of that could also be used in the passing game.
Touches.
Too,
Okay. Well,
yeah, so touch.
How many carries, how long will it take one running back, let's call it Sermon, to get to a 15 plus carry range? How long? Week 4, week 5? Tell me how long this takes. Raj is going to come on in a minute and tell me. I think he's going to say week 1. I'm going to spoil his bold prediction. But I'm saying by week 4 or week 5, Trey Sermon will have, like I've always said, you've got here is Mostert.
Mm-hmm.
Here is Wilson. Here's Gallman. And here's Trey Sermon. Which one of these doesn't look like the other? It's the massive microphone that we call Trey Sermon on the show. This guy will sidestep his way into the lineup because he's different, because he's built different. He's built like a tank. He's a wrecking ball. Shanahan hasn't had a wrecking ball running back for some time. He's had Mostert. He's had Wilson. He's had a lot of the guys that fit the same mold and build. He wants a wrecking ball. And for Shanahan to invest a high draft pick on a running back, which Shanahan doesn't do, tells me that he is going to be inching very quickly toward using this guy at what I would consider full-time in a Niner offense, because they will have multiple running backs in there. They have to, because media, they can't run one guy 30 times. He'll fall apart. But if you give, let's say, 30 carries, spread them out, you got 8 to Mostert. He breaks off a 40-yard run every 20 carries. So you want to get him about 6, 7, 8 carries. You'll probably get Gallman or Mitchell or whoever ends up being a guy that can kind of rotationally come in 2, 3, 4 carries, 2 or 3 receptions, and give Sermon 14 to 18 totes on the ground. That gives you 100 yards on the ground. That gives you a real strong shot at a touchdown. We're talking top 5 to 10 running back numbers per start for Trey Sermon if he's utilized. Media, final thought, and then I got to get to the other news.
All right, yeah. So, I mean, I think that also, if you think about it, he was drafted in the 3rd round, so he obviously has some, he wasn't drafted where Elijah Mitchell was drafted at. So
I like
think
Mitchell,
that, yeah,
you have to.
yeah,
own
no,
them both
I like
together.
Mitchell too.
Media,
but
in your fantasy,
I think at the end of the
day,
day, yeah, I think Sermon's probably gonna start pretty early, and I would probably say weeks 4 through 6, somewhere in there.
That's exactly what I think. I also think that Trey Sermon and Trey Lance will be kind of tied together. These guys, I love, like I was just talking about, I don't know if you saw it. You have Zach Wilson and Carter, Michael Carter. You have Etienne and Trevor Lawrence. You have Trey Lance and Sermon. There's nothing more beautiful than when 2 players, rookies, can come in together and rise up and kind of glue one another to each other so that they can stay in that rapport building mode their entire career. They're going to build rapport that no one else. They're doing second team stuff together. You know, they're constantly tied together. So when one comes in, they know the tendencies of the other. And when you're a genius coach, and I think Shanahan has had his moments with the quarterback mishaps, but in general, people would say a great mind. And when you're thinking about that stuff, when you pull one up, you might pull the other up. Wouldn't shock me at all if Sermon and Trey were on the field at the same time when that call comes. And maybe they ease Sermon in enough to where when Trey's in there, they'll just leave Sermon in a lot more once Trey's in there. Last prediction that I gotta boot you for now. Media, I always appreciate you. You guys can find Media on IG, 49er Media. Media, last question. How many starts does Jimmy G start in 2021?
I hate when you ask me this question because it's nearly impossible, because the fact that you don't will he be the 2019 Jimmy Garoppolo where he plays all games, or will he be the 2020 Jimmy where he misses?
I'm gonna stand by.
I can't say like an actual number.
Okay. All right, Media. I appreciate you, man.
Yep.
So go follow my boy Media, 49er Media on Instagram. Rob, this is Media. This is Rob. This is my I'm grooming him to eventually potentially take over the show. We're not sure. He works for free, so I just tell him that, so he'll keep working for free. All right, Media, I appreciate you, man.
Yep. All right, thanks for having me. Yep.
What's up, man?
Hey, man, how are you?
I'm good. We're just talking. Let's see here. Hold on. Let me get you back in. What's going on? There we go. So I'm talking Trey Sermon. Okay. And I'm super amped about Trey Sermon, as you may have seen before you jumped on, or maybe you didn't. I think this guy is going to eventually be a top 5 to 10 running back per start. Everything that I see points to this being a different situation than before for Niner running backs. Doesn't feel like it's going to be a rotation all year. Shanahan drafted this guy in the 3rd round, which he normally doesn't do. He has a skill set that is completely different than all the other running backs on the roster, which gives him a side fast track into the lineup. He doesn't necessarily have to climb every single spot in the pecking order. He literally can just bypass everybody like the Candyland ladder straight to the lineup because of the way he's wrecking ball like built. Tell me what you think of Trey Sermon, and do you predict like I do, and you cuff Elijah Mitchell to him? They're one and the same to me, because Mitchell could be had so dirt cheap you don't even want to take the chance. What are the odds? How many starts do you think the two of them, just using one of them at a time, obviously, get you if you cuff the both of them together in 2021? How many starts?
We're talking about Trey Sermon, right?
Trey Sermon and Elijah Mitchell. If you cuff the two together and you assume you're only going to ever use one at a time, how many starts do you get by owning the duo in 2021 fantasy football?
Well, Smitty, what about Raheem Mostert?
He's going to be used. He's going to be used at a 6 to 8 to 10 carry capacity. The Niners run the ball a lot. I don't think they ever want to give him more than 6 to 10 carries a game anyway, because he will break down. But so your prediction is that Mostert fends off the two of them all year, or like what's your prediction?
Yeah, my prediction is that Raheem Mostert is the projected starter, and that Raheem Mostert is going to get opportunity to be the lead back. And I don't feel that he can keep it, because I mean, his career track record shows that injuries are an issue. He only played 8 games last year, but in the 8 games that he played, he was efficient. He averaged over 5 yards per carry, rushed for over 500 yards, scored 3 touchdowns. Like, there was many weeks where if you were a Raheem Mostert owner, you were seeing an 80-yard run almost every week that he was in the lineup. Unfortunately, he was just not in the lineup that much. So for me, I feel that Mostert is someone that I'm targeting along with Sermon. So I feel where you're going, but I feel that the duo that you need to get is Mostert and Sermon, because I feel like that's going to be like the value play for me.
So, and I can understand that, but tell me how many starts Sermon, or let's just put them together, okay? Sermon and Mitchell, just so we don't leave any stone unturned. How many starts does Sermon get in 2021?
8.
See, that's like, I'm like 6 to 8 is the feeling I have. And even if it's 6 to 8, you win a league if he's top 5 to 10 running back capable at 6 to 8 starts. I think he's got the upside to be more than an 8-start guy, but I do truly believe that 6 to 8 feels safe. It feels safe because of the investment. 3rd round value to Shanahan means he likes him a lot. And as I said before you came on, Trey Sermon and Trey Lance are tied together in a way, and I love that with Michael Carter, Zach Wilson, Trevor Lawrence, ETN. You build rapport, you're stuck together as rookies, you're working together from the beginning, and you have a rapport, and they usually pull one up, they pull the other up. I think Trey Lance and Trey Sermon are in there at the same time the moment that call happens, but I'm super amped about this running back situation in 2021.
I can see the situation playing out, Smitty, where Sermon becomes a late round grab, and then he becomes a late season star.
Yeah,
we see it every year where there's a rookie running back that emerges in the second half, and I feel like Sermon has the makeup to be that guy. So for me, I mean, what is he going, man? Like 10th, 11th round? Like, take him.
Yeah, it's crazy. So here's another bit of news. This is straight from my sleeperu.com newswire. So the report out at NewOrleans.com is that Jameis Winston is not the Saints' solidified starter heading into the 2021 season. I've screamed this from the rooftops. Taysom Hill is getting a $140 million deal. Granted, it's very voidable. They can cut ties at any time. Like next year, they can cut ties. It's a very convenient contract for the Saints, but it still is a $140 deal in principle. They see Taysom Hill as the long-term option, or their hope is that he's the long-term option. They also used him last year when Breeze went down, and everyone keeps assuming that Winston, a guy that hasn't necessarily played a lot in a while, a guy that had a lot of struggles with INTs, a guy that couldn't grab the job away from Taysom Hill, who didn't even know the offense, which is why Kamara struggled so much in 2020, because Kamara didn't get the plays or the play calling that he would have got if there was another quarterback in there that knew the playbook. Like Taysom Hill he didn't know the plays that were designed for Kamara, so Kamara struggled for a big stretch. Even though Kamara outdid his 81 reception streak, and what do you have, 86 last year?
I think so.
It was 86, 87. So even in a struggling year where the guy wasn't used like he should have been at wide receiver in the PPR game, guy broke his 81 back-to-back reception record. Kamara's a beast. They ran him on the ground a ton. We saw, I think, a dose of what they want to do with Kamara next year, which is feed him on the ground a little more than normal. I love seeing that in Week 16. He won't get 5 TDs and 150 yards on the ground, but that shows that they're capable of running him if they get in a bind and can't throw to him. I like it. I feel great about Kamara. So, number one, how do you feel about the quarterback situation, and what do you think of Kamara? Is he in your top 2 or 3 locked and loaded for 2021?
Yeah, for me, he's 3, right behind Dalvin Cook and Christian McCaffrey. I could easily be swayed for Kamara being at the 1.01, though. I think everything that you just mentioned alludes to that. 3 straight seasons with over 80 receptions. He scored 21 times last year. The dude is an absolute monster. He was the number 1 running back in fantasy football. Why not, right? I think people are worried way too much about Drew Brees when, in fact, a year that he had 21 touchdowns, it was off the back of a very terrible Drew Brees season. So any sort of improvement, any sort of offseason with either Jameis Winston or Taysom Hill, you have to look at his situation a little bit more positively, Alvin Kamara's that is. So for me, Kamara locked in, top 3. If you get him and you're drafting at the 4th and 5th pick, then you may have stumbled upon a league winner. So to answer the question, Alvin Kamara, I'm all in. As far as the quarterback situation, however, I think Jameis Winston's going to get a shot at it, but Jameis Winston can easily lose it. So is he the best passer in the team? Yeah. He threw for 5,000 yards. He led the NFL in passing yards for a reason. Yeah. Is he extremely inefficient, and that's why he turned into a backup? Yes. So for me, Smitty, I wouldn't be shocked if Jameis Winston is given the opportunity, but at the moment, and his leash is probably this long. The moment that he goes 3 picks in a game, they will flip to Taysom Hill.
You know why Winston is set up for failure? Because
Why?
they're going to use Taysom Hill more than they've ever used him in goal line situations and red zone situations. So you're immediately taking away opportunities to score, to close out drives. It's going to set Winston up for failure because he's never going to be able to completely stay in a groove, and he's going to do all the dirty work where mistakes happen, and Taysom Hill's going to come in and look like a genius in his wheelhouse where he's got it perfected. You give him the ball in the 20-yard line, that's what he does. And it's such an unfair advantage he has, but it's going to set up Winston for failure. I don't see Taysom Hill screwing up in his potential opportunities to play as much as Winston could from 20 to 20. So I think it's just going to put Winston, a whole lot of pressure on Winston, and it's not going to lead to fantasy success because Taysom Hill's going to get all the glory, whether he's named the starter or not. And so Taysom Hill is one of the bigger sleeper quarterbacks in 2 QB leagues and in Superflex that I can find, because people are drafting Winston to be the starter. They're forgetting about Taysom Hill. They're knocking Taysom Hill left and right, and he's a quiet sleeping giant that will produce probably no matter whether he's a starter or not, and that's a secure thing to have in the Superflex league.
Yeah, I mean, going back to the Taysom Hill point, just looking at his stats, he was pretty efficient, all things considered, man. 928 passing yards, a 4 touchdown to 2 INT ratio. I mean, it looked Tim Tebow-esque at times if you watched the games, but the dude was getting it done, and he scored 8 rushing touchdowns. So, Smitty, you may be on to a huge sleeper in Taysom Hill where we might not know week 3 and week 4. So
Yes,
I like
sir. That leads us to another topic that's related, and that's Michael Thomas. A lot of people worried about Michael Thomas given which quarterback's in there. I think Taysom Hill gets a bad rap because he didn't know the offense. He was not versed in being a quarterback. Like, it's not his fault. When Breeze went down in that game last year, do you know why Taysom Hill didn't go in? Because he wasn't eligible as a quarterback that game. So Winston came in to finish the game because Taysom Hill literally was not even prepared to be the backup quarterback in case of injury happens. So they shove him into the lineup. He does Taysom Hill things. Doesn't know how to get the ball to Kamara because those plays haven't been learned yet. Once he gets a grasp of everything, that $140 million deal that they offered him, again, voidable each year, is a sign that they believe he could be. Not that he will be, because they made it very voidable, but that he could be the guy that might end up being the future quarterback for at least the next 3 or 4 or 5 years. I'm not saying he's a decade-long guy in the league. He runs a lot. Running quarterbacks can get hurt. He feels a little more gadget-like than he does a real quarterback. I get that. Yeah. But Taysom Hill's very successful, and you just said it. He had pretty good efficiency. It's not like Tim Tebow, where there's a whole lot of running. We're still waiting for the passing part to come into play. Taysom Hill has proven he's not only a good decision maker on when to pass and when to run, but if you give him the opportunity to learn the quarterback position and prepare for it, which is all he's doing the entire offseason, he's learning the quarterback position and learning how to command the team, not running around all over the field like he was last year. Right. It's exciting, man. I'm excited for the Saints, but Michael Thomas, I'm worried about Michael Thomas. Not to the point where I fade him in like the, I don't know, 3.3 to 3.12 range. I feel comfortable enough to take him in 1-2 leagues of my 20 leagues that I do, Rob. So we're talking about a 10%, maybe 15% chance that I take him. But what do you think about MT? Last thing I'll say before I let you rant on it is that I had Dr. Jesse Morse on and we talked about his injury. There's no indication that he had surgery. He had damaged 3 ligaments in his ankle and foot. And the main one that he damaged is responsible for holding the 2 bones together, which is what happens when you have a high ankle sprain. When you have a high ankle sprain, when your foot comes down, it has a tendency to want to separate right here between where those two bones connect. That one ligament that he damaged pretty severely was the one responsible for holding and keeping that tightness together, which is why you have pain when you have a high ankle sprain. It feels like your leg's going to separate. It's painful. And there's no indication that he had surgery. And Dr. Jesse Moore said he should have had surgery 3 days after it happened. He should have immediately had surgery. That issue was not going to get better. That he trying to heal on his own didn't work. But he confused me because he thinks that he could be healthy enough to it not be necessarily a problem. He assumes it could be. I myself am worried about that. You don't have surgery on a guy that tried to let it heal on his own and it didn't work out last year. I can't just make assumptions with like my number 2 overall, drafted player. So I will push it to 3 and make him my 3rd drafted player. What do you think?
I think he's going at that value right now, and I think Michael Thomas is someone that is honestly he's still one of the best wide receivers in the league. Right, prior to last year, prior to the injury, we're talking about someone who played 16 games, 15 games. He's extremely efficient. He's only 28 years old. I see more upside than I do risk. So for me, if I have an ability to draft Michael Thomas in the 3rd round, especially towards the back half of the 3rd round, which I do see him going there, maybe it creeps up as we move up, but I'm taking that chance because that's an opportunity where you can win the league. If Michael Thomas finishes as a top 10 fantasy wide receiver and you drafted him in the 3rd round, then you're benefiting from that a ton.
How many leagues would you do it in? Let's say you play 10, and he's
which
the
is
best
my average usually.
And he's the best player on the board in the 3rd round in all 10 leagues. How many of them are you taking a gamble on though? Because we're talking about a guy that you literally, like Rob, when people, and I'm not going at you on this, but when people say he'll be fine, he'll be healthy, like I don't understand how people can make that assumption. We don't know. No one knows because he didn't have surgery. It's not one of those situations where it's like, I could see somebody saying McCaffrey will be fine, and I could be like, okay, you might be right. You're making assumptions there, but that is a logical stance. But when you say,
right.
Not you, when someone says Mike Thomas will be fine, they're a dynasty owner. They own him. That's the only reason they're saying it like that. No one knows what's going on with this guy. He did not have surgery from what we can tell. And he damaged 3 major ligaments in his ankle. So, but I am saying I will draft him. I will draft him in 1
I will too.
or 2 of my 20 leagues. I'm going to own Mike Thomas, damn it. And I'm going to feel good about it in 1 or 2 leagues. I'll let that league fall apart or I'll recover through free agency, whatever. But I'm not putting all my eggs in one basket. I'll put all my eggs in one basket with CeeDee Lamb. There's a couple guys I'll do that with. But I'm not with Mike Thomas. And so that comes to this question. If Mike Thomas is such a good pick in round 3, are you still taking him over CeeDee Lamb? Are you still taking him over Mahomes? If all other things seem pretty like dull, and you're like, okay, clearly the 2 best players. I mean, I don't take a quarterback early normally if that's your thinking, whatever. But Mahomes is sitting there, but MT's there. Are you taking Lamb? Are you taking Mahomes? You taking MT? Are you mixing it up?
I'm taking Thomas there. If I had to pick, obviously it depends on your 1st and 2nd round pick because, I have a tendency to go obviously 1 running back or maybe even 2, depending on the situation. So at that point, you're really swinging for upside with that 3rd pick. And if Michael Thomas can finish in the top 10, you're in a great spot. So it really depends on what I go in round 1 and 2. But typically in that situation that you just provided, I'm going to go Michael Thomas just because he's the wide receiver 1 in that offense. He's going to lead the team in targets. He's going to be where Taysom Hill or Jameis Winston go to. I can't see a world where if Michael Thomas plays 14 games at a minimum, that he doesn't average 15 to 16 PPR points a game. So I'm going to take that over a guy like CeeDee Lamb, who I think is going to have his ebbs and flows this year, where he's going to win you some weeks by himself. But I also know that some weeks it's going to be an Amari Cooper game. It's going to be a Michael Gallup game. So I'd rather just stay with a little bit of a safety in the Michael Thomas side.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say that I'm liking him about as much as like a Clyde Edwards-Helaire, so like a 3.5, 3.4. I'm gonna
They're in the same
rotate.
range.
I'm gonna rotate all these. You what?
They're in the same range.
Yeah, they're in the same
going
range.
right there.
And Mahomes. I mean, Mahomes is obviously could be the number one player at his position, but given the cost of entry and the other quarterback values and where you can get, Herbert and Josh Allen, Mahomes does fall into the 3.1. Well, I'd take Mahomes in a couple leagues at like 2.10 or something like that if it felt right with the flow of draft. But he's right there. But Lamb is also, like, I'm taking Lamb in a lot of those situations over Mike Thomas. I'm trying to get Lamb in the fourth.
You're reaching for Lamb at that point, man, because he's going in the fourth.
That's what I was just going to say. I'm trying to get Lamb in the fourth round where I can get away with it. And what I mean by that is that if you're looking at a pre-ranked list and Lamb's like 5 players down, and I know that there's running backs mixed in, like 5 wide receivers down, and you know that you're going to throw 4 running backs in there, a quarterback, maybe a tight end, and I feel like I can squeak out Lamb in the next pick, I'll use that to my advantage all day long. But I firmly believe that come August, Lamb won't sniff the fourth round in very competitive leagues. I think Lamb's going to climb high. I think news is going to break that this guy's looking fantastic. And remember what Godwin news did to Godwin's value back in, 2018 or 2019, where Arians said, Godwin's going to catch 100 balls. And it was good Lord. I had this guy ranked at 10th round win a league value, 8th, 9th, 10th round. Godwin was one of my biggest talked about guys in January. You go get Godwin at 7, 8, 9 round value, you win your league, young man. And what does Arians do? Arians vaults him immediately from one comment into the top 4 to 5 rounds, which was still a steal because he was like a top 12 overall player. So Lamb season's totally in gear. I'm conducting the train, Rob. There's still room to jump on. I know you're still on.
Smitty, I'm on board, but I'm on board at a reasonable rate, so I'm not going to reach for him. In fact, I suppose in the leagues that we're in together, you're just going to be taking him in the third round. It seems like
it's sickening though that my followers are when we're doing mock drafts, they'll take him in a second, and I'm like, what are you guys doing? Like, this is what happens. This is why the ADPs climb so high when I'm touting like a single guy over and over and over. Is because I'll tout him, I'll reach a little bit for him, but then everybody wants to snipe me in the draft to get him, and they take him in the second, and I'm like, stop! You're ruining his value.
Can I test your Lamb obsession and just name some names that are? Would you take Lamb or?
Yes.
Lamb or Allen Robinson?
Lamb
or Terry McLaurin?
I'm not going to say it in a way that's disrespectful to McLaurin because I think he could be a low-end wide receiver 1 with ease in 2021, but I'm still picking Lamb because I feel Lamb will be a top 5 wide receiver in 2021. So in the end, you're going to throw a lot of names at me, and I'm going to continue to tell you Lamb or give you some creative way of saying, I'll draft that guy, but I'll rather trade down and get Lamb. But go ahead. Keep it going.
So it feels to me that that's where the benchmark is. Obviously, Chris Godwin, then it's going to be Lamb, right?
Lamb.
Mike Evans?
Lamb.
DJ Moore?
Lamb.
Deontay?
Definitely Lamb. I'm out on Deontay, bro. I'm out on Deontay.
No, I feel you. But Deontay? I'm sorry, Keenan Allen?
That's one where I won't be disrespectful because my boy Herbert is going to drop some massive boatloads all over the field constantly in 2021, and someone's going to reap the benefits of that. I like Allen a lot, but I still feel like Lamb will finish higher. So if I've got to trade down to get Lamb, I'm not necessarily going to draft Lamb. You're starting to go higher and higher. I'm not going to necessarily draft Lamb ahead of these guys, but it will be, hey, I'll creatively trade down. But go ahead.
That's it. So I guess I see where you're coming from. I will say this. Did you see my last post on Terry McLaurin?
No.
He is the next DeAndre Hopkins.
I love McLaurin. Love McLaurin.
So let me just when I was looking into it, the more I dove into it, the more odd it became. But Terry McLaurin's situation is almost identical to what DeAndre Hopkins was prior to the breakout. So if you even look at their sophomore and rookie stat lines, it's pretty much on par. If you look at the quarterbacks that they had in the carousel of quarterbacks that DeAndre Hopkins had in his first 2 years, it's almost identical. In fact, they both played with Case Keenum. And guess who the quarterback was when DeAndre Hopkins broke out?
Keenum?
Ryan Fitzpatrick.
I love how Keenum gets tied into your prediction. You're like, Case Keenum. Case Keenum was the key to this whole thing.
No, it's the guy followed Case Keenum, which is Ryan Fitzpatrick,
Yeah,
who's the starter for Washington right now.
Look,
DeAndre Hopkins exploded when Fitz was the quarterback for the Texans for that 12-game span. That's when he took his level to the next game. I feel that Terry McLaurin, in the situation that he's in, because he has a little bit more stability, they're going to be passing more. They now have Curtis Samuel and a couple different options. When you just do the math, how does Terry McLaurin not finish top 5? They're even the same size.
I love McLaurin. Look, I love McLaurin. The one thing would make me feel like there could be some inconsistency is like we know Fitzpatrick going 17 games is going to be a tall order. So, 10 games I feel like is what he does. And if he doesn't, get hurt, then I have no reason to doubt McLaurin in the 6 to 10 range. I think you want to draft him like Lamb. You want to draft him as late as you can, or you're ruining the maximizability of this potential breakout. So right. I'm not going to crap on that at all. I love McLaurin. McLaurin was on my bold predictions a couple years ago. So you're getting no arguments on McLaurin. I love McLaurin. I want both. Can't we just own both? Why do we have to decide between McLaurin and Lamb? We just do an option. You can,
Smitty. If you draft at the end of the 3rd round, there's a likelihood that Terry McLaurin is there, and then you can wrap around and grab freaking Lamb on the way back.
Hey guys, hit the thumbs up, please, on your way in the door here. Okay, so at the risk of really overwhelming you, do you have time?
No, I'm good. I'm good for a few more minutes.
Do you have high blood pressure?
No, I'm good.
Okay, because at the risk of really ramping up your anxiety, we're going to play Fantasy Football Court. You're welcome to stay. You have to answer within
court
the
or court. All right, fantastic. I'm down.
Okay, I'm going to move you to the other side of the screen here. So Fantasy Football Court is a high stress environment, and you have to answer the questions in the allotted time of the timer. Can you hear the audio? Okay.
Yeah, I'm good.
Can you hear this?
I can.
Okay. Everybody, get ready. Ask your questions in the chat. We will answer them. We will roast you. We will do what we have to do to get you straight. There's community service getting handed out, contempt of court, sustaining, the whole works. So I'm going to rotate with Rob. Rob, you're going to answer a question. I'm going to put it on the screen. You got to do it in the allotted time. Okay?
Do it.
So here we go. Everybody, ask your questions. Load up the chat. And the first question would be, we'll give you an easy one, Rob. McLaurin, wide receiver 1?
100%.
Case closed. That was an easy one. Okay. AJ Brown or Ridley? Rob, go.
You're not going to like this. Calvin Ridley.
Okay.
The reason for it is because, is Julio leaving? Is he not? If Julio leaves, it's going to be Calvin Ridley. If not, it's going to be A.J. Brown, because I do like the fact that the target share is going to go Ridley's way. And when Julio Jones was not in the lineup, he averaged 7 receptions and 100 yards. So give me Ridley.
Ridley, he says. I say it's a pretty even situation. You can't really go wrong. We do need to see what happens with A.J. Brown's, is he going to get double teamed constantly? Is there going to be any help? Yep. I think Julio landing in Tennessee wouldn't be the end of the world, because there are so many vacated targets from Jonnu and Corey Davis. An aging Julio might not absorb all of them, so A.J. Brown would still get more targets. But I worry about A.J. Brown getting double teamed. I still love both of them. They're still both in that category of wide receiver that could be number 1 overall. Mm-hmm. A.J. Brown could finish as the number 1 wide receiver. Ridley could finish as the number 1 wide receiver. Justin Jefferson. There are about 6 to 7 of those wide receivers that you could throw your boy McLaurin in there. Even Steven. Okay. Next question. This one is for Rob. Rob, you have 60 seconds to answer it. Timing is everything. Waller versus Kittle. Go.
Oh, God. I'm going to swing for the fences and go George Kittle. I know nobody was excited about last season with him missing time, but I'm expecting this offense to be better. I'm expecting the quarterback situation to be better. And when George Kittle's on the field, he's a league winner. So give me George Kittle.
Okay, we'll both answer within the 60 seconds. So we got to both work with each other. Wonk, I'm going to say Waller for me only, and I know my my Niner people are going to be like, what are you talking about? It's a lot of mouths to feed. A lot of mouths to feed. Kittle's got to stay healthy. I love him. He's fantastic. He helps you potentially if, like, let's say Julio even lands in San Fran. Like, what are you going to do? It's going to be really hard to eat in San Fran. Give me Waller. I think he gets a ton of targets. I love both of them. Waller's actually older than Kittle. People don't know that. Waller ain't a spring chicken. But give me Waller in 2021. Okay. Ayuk or Pittman late. Okay, so before we roast Mike, he's trying to say, do you take Ayuk earlier or Pittman late? That's a weird question, though, bro. But I'm gonna go ahead and say I like Pittman a lot, but Pittman's a swing. Like, you're not investing a ton in Pittman. You're not expecting a ton out of Pittman. Most likely, you're not going to ever get wide receiver 1 or even super high-end wide receiver 2 numbers out of Pittman. Maybe you're getting low-end wide receiver 2 or high-end wide receiver 3 or flex numbers out of Pittman. Ayuk has the potential to be a whole lot better, so I don't even understand this question. You're in contempt. Go ahead, Rob.
Yes, with that same question, Brandon Ayuk is currently going as the wide receiver 25, whereas Michael Pittman's going in the 40s. So you could take both if you wanted to, but Ayuk's situation just is a whole lot better. So I'm with you there, Smitty. Ayuk.
Thumbs up. Good job, Rob. You're getting the hang of this. Okay, next question. Pitt's top 5 tight end? Question mark. Go ahead.
The tight end position is so atrocious that calling someone tight end number 5 isn't that nuts. So, yes, he's number 5.
Yeah, I top 5 redraft, maybe 1 or 2 in Dynasty, and you wouldn't be crazy to think so. Be bolder next time. Stop bringing this mundane shit to the court, Miles! Okay.
Throwing layups.
Yeah, he's trying to play checkers today. Okay, Akers or Sermon, Smitty, with a big grin and smiley face. Contempt for just trying to be silly, but
he's trying to set you up.
Tell me what you think about Akers real quick. You have until the timer. Go. What do you think about Akers?
The more time I give it, the more I'm actually leaning towards Akers coming at his value at the end of the first round. I know we talked about it before, but we don't see it happening. But the more you look at it, Smitty, there's nobody else out there. Akers is going to get all the opportunity in the world in a better offense with Matthew Stafford. I'm in on Akers as a late first round pick.
I'm not touching him in the early first or the late first only because they're just players I like a little bit better and safer. I would take him in the second, but he's not going there, so I'm not owning him. Aaron Jones or Zeke Elliott, this is a tough one because these guys both have potentially similar ADPs. They have potentially similar upsides. They got Aaron Jones and Zeke have kind of similar risk, but they also have similar security blankets in that you can get A.J. Dillon and tie him to Aaron Jones. You can get Tony Pollard and tie him to Zeke. They both happen to have what I consider and talk about as super handcuffs in fantasy football. Guys that aren't normal handcuffs, they're super handcuffs. There's only 5, 6, 7 of them in the NFL. These guys both have one. So I think if you own one, you're fine. You got to cuff them to the super handcuff. But I feel like of the two, the one that has the most question marks right now, because I don't think A-Rod's leaving, is Zeke. I'm a little worried about whether he dropped off. So give me Aaron Jones and Dillon, but barely. Rob, you're up.
Yeah, it's a no-brainer, and it's going to be Aaron Jones for me, but for the simple reason of touchdowns. He scored 25 touchdowns combined over the last 2 years. I think he was the RB1 going, not last year, but the year before. So the upside of that offense with Aaron Rodgers there, we know that they re-signed him for a reason. He's going to be a valued part of that offense. So for me, give me the guy that scores the most touchdowns and is pretty consistent as the passer. Just give me Aaron Jones.
You know what's weird about this is I just did a mock draft from the 6th spot, and I didn't even consider Aaron Jones at the 6th spot. He was,
he's falling into the second round.
Yeah, so I didn't. But what's funny is my answer is give me Aaron Jones when I'm drafting Zeke at 6 to 10 when I'm trying it out. I'm not excited about it, but Zeke's costing you an 8 to 9 or overall pick. So it's kind of a head game when you think about it like that. Like, why am I drafting Zeke over him when pure pressure?
Right.
So like I need to rethink my Aaron Jones drafting because I just answered my own question that I felt like the safer guy is Jones, but yet I'm not taking him higher.
Yep.
Mixon or Javonte Williams. Look, Mixon's the starter. Javonte's not the starter yet. Like, there's no contest here. And I'm a big doubter of Mixon from many angles, but from third round value, I am actually okay with Mixon in 2021. Not to mention, Chase is going to open up the offense. Burrow is going to have a quicker release. The offense is going to be spread out. And if Mixon stays healthy, which is my biggest concern, we have a season where Mixon can finally do what we've been expecting. Rob?
Smitty, I'm going to put you on the spot. I'm going to reverse the court on you.
Okay.
Ready for this?
Yeah. Careful.
You went Alvin Kamara in the first round. You went Pat Mahomes because you wanted to reach in the second round. You know you're not going to get CeeDee Lamb back, but you have Joe Mixon and CeeDee Lamb available in third. Who are you going with?
I'm going with CeeDee Lamb over Mixon. No matter what. No matter what. I'm not drafting Joe Mixon over CeeDee Lamb. This goes to my best player available approach. You know, if that means, like, see, the thing is, if Mixon's falling in the 3-round range, and I'm okay with that, if someone wants to take a gamble, I'm still most likely going to find 4 or 5 guys, if I'm like right in the middle, like Clyde, like Mahomes, like, I mean, there's a grip of players. I could list off a ton of them that like Gibson's going to now fall into the 3rd round from the 2nd. There are just too many players I like more than Mixon. So it would have to be like the tail end of the 3rd. I'd have to have no running backs to even like contemplate going Mixon over CeeDee Lamb at the end of the 3rd, because I'm not taking Lamb at 3.5. I'd take Lamb at like the end of the 3rd, top of the 4th, because I could get away with this highway robbery for a while now. But yeah, it's not. And to answer this question, it's Mixon because he's the starter. Like Javonte Williams could eventually get a hold of this kind of value, but you know you can't choose Javonte over him right now.
No way.
Akers, or this is an interesting one that I think I'm going to shock some people, and you might too, because you and I are probably two of the biggest Najee Harris believers I think around right now on Instagram. I think that Najee Harris, I would not only draft him in Dynasty over Akers without even thinking about it. I would be more tempted to trade down and get Najee and draft or let's say I had the 11 and 14 pick, and Akers is right there, and I knew Akers would go. I'd rather go with a top wide receiver that I think could be top 5 wide receiver, top 1 to 5, and take Najee in the 2nd, then go Akers and then run the risk of not getting the wide receiver I want. Ultimately, it's pretty close. What do you think?
For me, it's Najee. I think a lot of people are not on that train, but I just feel like he's just going to be an absolute workhorse, and there's no doubt about it. Give me Najee.
Good case, Jerry. We're going to go with Najee. Final.
That was a good question, though.
Final ruling, bro. Taylor, undervalued or overvalued? I keep seeing posts on this on Instagram, and it's head scratching. How is Taylor overvalued at like 5 or 6 or 7 overall?
5 is pretty deep, dude. Like 5, like I don't know if I'm taking him at 5.
So he's overvalued at 5 or 6 is where he's kind of going.
I would look at Taylor at the end of the 1st round, early 2nd round. I'm not buying.
He's not falling to the 2nd round.
Pick. Yeah.
So this is your Akers then, because he's not falling to the 2nd round.
Yeah, I just think the situation is completely colluded here. I mean, you get Marlon Mack back, who was a 1,000-yard rusher in himself. You get Najee Harris as a guy that can catch passes. You have Frank Wright and Carson Wentz, who traditionally go with a running back by committee approach. I'm not feeling it.
Are we gonna have to put the pro temp judge in contempt of court here, guys, or not? Like, I get what you're saying. But
5th overall, Smitty?
That's where he's going.
I know. Is that where you would take him?
I mean, he's going to cost you a 5th or 7th round pick, and I would definitely draft him. Like if it goes Kamara, or it goes McCaffrey, Kamara, Cook. Like, honestly, I would consider him at 5 overall.
Are you? Rodgers is back. Are you taking Devontae Adams?
Over Jonathan Taylor? No. Not when you have wide receivers that are just as capable as Adams falling into the second. So if I wanted to go wide receiver, I might go Adams and a wide receiver and not worry too much about it. But Adams isn't going at 5 or 6 right now. Some of that's the Aaron Rodgers fear that's driving him out of the 6 spot, because Adams was the bona fide number 6 overall pick last year, like 5-6, and he should be this year too. But the A-Rod news is definitely knocking him out. But JT is top.
I'm so low on Taylor.
JT's
so
top 5. Top 5 overall. Top 5 overall. Top 5 or 6 overall.
I got Zeke in front of him. I got Aaron Jones in front of him, and he's right there with Nick Chubb.
I just don't see the fear in Mack, man. Marlon Mack, he hasn't been a thing for a while. Like that I'd rather it be Marlon Mack than it be some Chuba Hubbard rookie coming in and like just scaring the crap out of him. I don't feel Mack. I think Hines is the guy I'd talk about, not Mack. Mack, maybe prove me wrong, Mack, but I don't think Mack's gonna even be in the equation in terms of like this, who's getting the touches or vulturing from Jonathan Taylor. To me, if Jonathan Taylor's vultured, it's in the PPR game with Hines. But I still think Jonathan Taylor, like all these rookies, like Clyde, they didn't get the proper PPR, christening with COVID. So I don't know, man. It's a good debate. I'm glad we found something we completely disagree on, and it's in the first round. So that's very interesting.
I mean, I'm to support my Mac discussion, my Mac point. He's only 25 years old. He's 6 feet, 210 pounds. Prior to him getting injured, he was a 1,000-yard rusher the year before.
The thing I'm shocked about is you're almost shocked that Taylor's, that I like Taylor at 6 or 7, but that's his ADP. Like that's definitely where he's going. What about Dynasty? Are you liking him in the 6 overall in Dynasty, Taylor, or no? Still no?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So just redraft. You think he gets better?
Yeah.
You think Mack gets faded later?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Next question. Pollard will take more carries than Mack will. I agree with that, Kenny. What about you? Nope.
No. Zeke is going to get his...
It's hard running court with 2 judges.
He's always top 5 in carries. He's by far the best pass protector. Do I think Pollard takes a little bit of his PPR value away? I do, but I do feel that Zeke is really safe, especially with Dak.
I got you. I just disagree, but that's why we play the game. And give me, so before we let you go, Rob, give me one. Let me stop court real quick. Court's hard to do with 2 people. Give me one spicy topic before you go. I've got about 20 minutes left anyway, so let's spend, and I don't know how much time you have, but let's spend about 5 minutes or less on a spicy topic. Hit me with it. Give me something good. I can throw one at you first while you think if you want.
Yeah.
Okay.
You hit me first.
I'm gonna say, let's see. I will say Justin Herbert is my number 3 quarterback. And I know that is bold to most people. But when you think about the quarterbacks that we're talking about that I'm putting below him, you're talking about Kyler, who there's some massive upside. But being a Cardinal fan, being here in Arizona, I do know he's still trying to get it all together. Kyler's got a lot of things he's working on. The Cardinals didn't do him any favors not drafting Najee Harris. I thought that would have solved all the problems and opened up the offense entirely. Keep defenses focused on more than one thing than Kyler. So I do feel like Kyler is capable of being inconsistent. He also runs a lot that leads to potential injury. But I love Kyler. Kyler's still my 4. Like, people get really mad when I put Herbert 3. They're like, what about Kyler? Kyler's still 4, and it's close. It's close enough for me. You guys saw me in a mock draft the other night. Rotate them. Like, I can rotate them. I like Herbert and Kyler enough that I'll take one in one draft. I'll take one in the other because I want to mix things up. That's how I roll. But who am I missing? Like, are you sitting here going, why is Lamar not your number 3? Or why is so-and-so? Like, how are you having both Kyler and Herbert above this guy? Like, what am I? Because this is a very hot topic whenever I post it. It's Herbert 3. Are you crazy? I think Herbert's going to be an MVP caliber quarterback in 2021. He's the GOAT. And he'll punch you in the throat.
So, I mean, I'm from San Diego. I mean, I follow the Chargers quite a lot, and I like Justin Herbert. But when you're talking about those top 3 spots, what Justin Herbert will have to do if you see him as a top 3 fantasy quarterback is he has to throw for anywhere from 38 to 42 touchdown passes. Do you think he's capable?
Yes. I think he'll also run for 5, 6. He's capable. He's a gritty guy. He's a guy. He reminds me a lot of like I don't want to say Josh Allen because he doesn't run like him, but like a Brett Favre or a guy that's going to get the ball in the end zone at any expense, figure it out, game maker, clutch, just complete clutch near the end zone. Like he'll be that guy. He'll turn into that guy where he finds a way to score the football. And man, I'm excited about Herbert. I think it would have been great if they got like Kyle Pitts. They traded up for Kyle Pitts or traded up for Devontae Smith. I was really hoping for that. But, Williams, you've got Keenan Allen, you've got now Jared Cook, who, maybe he's got something left. And if anybody's going to pull it out of him, it probably will be Herbert. Cook could be pretty good. And then we have Eckler. Eckler's literally the best PPR back in the entire league if he's used properly. I think Kamara,
so why aren't you taking him ahead of Jonathan Taylor?
Eckler? Well,
yeah.
because you don't have to. So I would trade down to get Eckler. But I'm starting to get more and more and more and more excited about Eckler every single day. And I'm starting to want to inch him into the second round where he really kind of belongs, but he'll kind of jump all around ADP boards. I don't even know where I would say his consistent ADP ranking is. But second round, I think is very comfortable for Eckler. I think if you take him in the first round, you're running a lot of risk of, okay, are they going to get back to throwing to him a little bit more than they used to and running him a little less? I don't think he's the kind of running back that can handle a 1,000-yard season. I think he was a 400, 500-yard rushing running back that would get you wide receiver numbers on top of a 400 or 500, in 3 or 4 or 5 TD rushing season. You take a really elite wide receiver number and add in 450 yards and 4 TDs. That's insane. That's why he ranked in the top 5 back in his prime. I just hope they use him right. I think they will. I think him and Herbert having this offseason together, having, because you remember when Eckler was overvalued last year, he did get hurt, but he was overvalued last year. Everyone's comment was, who's going to throw it to him? No one believed in Herbert yet. And then Eckler got hurt. Herbert kind of emerged. So we haven't seen them prepare fully together, and it's going to be exciting. But go ahead and speak to Eckler.
I mean, I'll comment on your Herbert point being top 3. I'm not that I'm that far off. I have him 6. The only quarterbacks that I have ahead of him are the ones that can utilize their legs. I have Kyler Murray ahead of him because the dude rushed for 800 yards and he scored 11 rushing touchdowns. And it was an off year. So what happens when Kyler Murray puts it all together? So for me, I think Kyler Murray has the ability to finish as the 1. But Josh Allen, a rushing quarterback, Kyler Murray, Pat Mahomes, who's locked in at 40-plus touchdowns. And then for me, controversial, but maybe this is the way I go, but I still think Lamar Jackson is this year's best value because you're getting someone who is locked in as a rusher who provides you the ability of a running back in your quarterback slot. And if he can get to where he was as his sophomore season when he was an NFL MVP, if you can get 70% of that, then he can win you the league. So for me, it's Lamar ahead of Justin Herbert. And I wonder how many people feel that way. I think you should do a poll, Herbert versus Lamar Jackson.
Let's do a poll for quarterbacks. So we'll do everybody in the chat. Once we feel like it's in control or out of control, we'll stop the voting. So who's the number 1 quarterback? Vote in the chat. I'm sure everyone's going to say Mahomes. I don't think we have to go very far on this, but go ahead and spit it out. So let's vote in the chat here. Mahomes. I'm going to say Mahomes. Rob, what are you going to say?
Yep, Mahomes.
Okay, so we're not going to even let this one go very far. Okay, number 2 quarterback. I'm going to say Josh Allen. Allen.
I will agree with you.
We've got a lot of Allen votes already for the number 1 that are trickling in still because there's like a 15-second delay at this point in the live. So I'm going to go ahead and say safely that since so many people wanted Allen potentially here, that you could put Allen here. Okay.
Yep.
Now, moving forward to avoid any confusion, please put in the chat the player and the rank. Okay, so don't just say Jackson. Say Jackson 3, Herbert 3. So I know what you're talking about because there's a little delay. So number 3, who's the number 3 quarterback? Rob, who's your number 3?
Kyler Murray.
Okay, so we got 2 votes Murray. I'm gonna put it over here. 1 vote Tebow. We got 2 votes Murray. I might be missing some of them. 3 votes Murray. I'm gonna have to. I'm too far behind now. Dak, Herbert, Murray. Herbert, Dak. It looks close between Herbert and Murray, man.
Dude, Murray was only 20 fantasy points shy of first place with Josh Allen. Like, he can get there.
Herbert, Dak, a lot of Dak, man. There's so many Dak. Like, do you get this too when you do a ranking and you leave Dak out of the top 3 or 4? Like, people just go nuts. They're like, what about Dak? You know, like I love Lamb, I love Cooper. Like I love Dak, but Dak had his ankle like completely demolished. Like there's a reason to be a little worried about putting him 3. That's all I'm saying.
I got him 5, so it's not.
It. By the looks of this, man, Herbert and Murray are really, really naked. Like, I don't even know how to count. I'd have to go through them all again. I thought we'd see, like, an overwhelming sense here of what... But it looks like a tie.
I'm telling you, man.
It's Murray and Herbert.
So just put Murray and Herbert 3-4.
All right.
So for me personally, Smitty, it goes Murray, then it goes Lamar Jackson. Then it goes Dak. Then it goes Herbert.
For me,
I'm finishing 6th. He finished 9th last year.
I don't have Lamar here. I'd have
so for you, do you have Murray there?
I have Murray 4. I have Herbert 3.
Then who's 5?
It's between. I mean, I have him in consideration, Lamar, but I think A-Rod is still in the mix here if it's redraft. If it's dynasty, you know, then obviously I'm a little more worried about that. But I still feel like Lamar isn't like the kind of guy that's gonna do it for 5-6 more years. I think he gets hurt at some point. But you know, Dak's in this consideration, like right in here. You know, 6, 7, or you could argue 5. You could argue whatever. Like I understand that Dak's got a lot of. You can even read or see what I was doing. Dak's in that consideration there. But you know, Lamar, A-Rod. I mean, even Russell Wilson. I know people are gonna say, "Oh, he's so inconsistent," but Russell Wilson's getting no respect. This guy's falling to the freaking 7th or 8th round, man. It's insane.
You know
this
how many
is last year's A-Rod.
Do you know how many touchdown passes Russell Wilson tossed for last year?
How many?
40, bro. 40.
Yeah, in this, he's going in the 8th to 9th, 10th round range. This is A-Rod from last year. I was screaming from the rooftops, man. A-Rod was one of the biggest steals in fantasy football last year. People are doubting him left and right. Russell Wilson is this year's version of A-Rod. If you want to wait on a quarterback, this is your guy because he'll be there for you.
Yep.
All right, Rob. I appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you, man.
Hopefully you can join next week as well.
Yeah, should be squared away. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Go follow my boy State of Mind. You can find him. Let me put his handle up again real quick on IG. Close to 50,000 people. Can't be wrong. This man right here, Fantasy Football State of Mind on IG. Go follow him and get ready for the Throne. Our Throne draft order will be Friday. So tomorrow.
Did you do the promo video yet?
No, I got to work on that. I think I'm going to use the draft order as a part of the promo, so I've been waiting.
Oh, cool.
But we're doing the draft order for the Throne. I got the lottery turnstile thing. We'll do that. Cool. So are you free tomorrow at all? What time would work for you tomorrow night to do the Throne order live on Instagram?
Are you bringing people in? Kind of like you did last year?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, depending on what slot I get, I'll definitely pop in wherever I'm at, maybe for like 5 minutes.
Okay. What time works for you, Eastern?
3. No, Eastern time. A Pacific time, 3.
So our time 3?
6. Yeah,
Okay.
our time 6 p.m. Pacific.
I'll do it at 3
I'm
o'clock. I'll do it at 3 o'clock our time, 6 p.m. Eastern. Done.
Cool. Sounds good.
All right. Later, man.
Cool, Smitty. See you then. Bye.
Go follow the man. Okay. Let's finish fantasy football court. Let's see. Court. Fantasy football court. Ask your questions. Get them lined up. Let's go fantasy football court for the last 8 minutes here. Where's my... All right, here we go. First question, Kenny. More top 12 potential, top 20 floor. I can get behind. Where's my... I'm going to smash my glass. Let's move this. Where am I? Let's get this over here. This over here. There. That's the ticket. I could get on board. Lamb or Hopkins? You got to take Hopkins, man. Do I think Lamb could outscore him? Absolutely. But you don't draft them even close to each other. You can get both. Hopkins. Sermon or Mostert, this is contempt. I like Mostert, bro, but no. Come on now. Come on now. Thank you, Typhoon. I appreciate it. Jamar Chase, Dak. What is this? Cup and Hurts. Jamar Chase and Dak or Cup and Hurts. You go with Jamar Chase and Dak, in my opinion. In redraft or dynasty. I know people are going to be like, bro, Cup's the best. I don't care. Chase is going to be the best. Get out of here. Davis or Edmonds. First of all, that's not how you spell Edmonds. Why does everybody spell Edmonds? E-D-M-U-N-D-S. Edmonds. Edmonds. Davis or Edmonds. Contempt for spelling. Contempt for question. Contempt for not knowing by this time that Davis is a pretty darn good value grab. And Edmonds is compete with Connor and didn't do anything last year. Contempt all the way around. No show for you. 1 week. Just got home from work. What's up? What's up, Seclan? Later, Lance. I appreciate you. Christian McCaffrey or Rex Burkhead, who do you take with your first pick? Seclan, get the snacks out and take a lap. You think Wentz can be a top 10 QB this year? Probably not, bro, because there are just too many. I mean, look at how many QBs we got. Okay, Mahomes, Allen, Herbert, Murray, Lamar, A-Rod, Russell Wilson, Joe Burrow. We're at 8. We're at 8. Dak. I mean, not in any particular order. Dak, Burrow, Hurts, Tom Brady, Matt Ryan. I don't even like Ryan, but like, where's Wentz gonna fit in? It's too hard. Stafford. Then all these rookies like Trey Lance, if he gets in there at some point. I just don't see it, man. I don't see it. No Wentz. He's a 2 QB guy. Don't mind him in a 2 QB format, but I'm not starting Wentz in any kind of 1 QB league scenario whatsoever. Doesn't mean I don't like him. Trust your gut. I could be wrong. Wentz could have a big year, but I'm not going near him. Najee first round, yes or no? In Dynasty, affirmative. In redraft, you don't need to take him, but he's worth it. He will be worth it in hindsight, but you want to take advantage. You don't want to be taking a guy way too early. So try not to take him in the first round, bro, until you're forced to. Until ADP tells you you're taking me in the first round. That would be contempt. That would be a lack of using maximization to your advantage. Hurts or Tom Brady, it could go either way. Absolute highest you would take Jefferson knowing he won't fall in a league. In Dynasty, I'd take him as high as number 6 overall. I don't care what anybody says to me. I don't care if someone goes, Jefferson, he's not even the first wide receiver. I believe he is. In Dynasty, give me Justin Jefferson out of all wide receivers. So in Dynasty, top 6. If we're talking redraft, the earliest I would take him, because I know I don't have to take him any higher, but it's reaching. The highest reach I would do would be like in the turn pick at 12 and 13. I wouldn't be afraid to take Jefferson at 13 and take him and pair him with an Aaron Jones or a Zeke or another wide receiver. I would be smoking my pipe, watching 2 wide receivers dominate in 2021 and build my team around some pretty lethal running backs in the 3rd and 4th round that could fall. Maybe you get a Clyde and a Monty. Get a Clyde and a Monty and a Jefferson and a Hopkins, or a Jefferson and a DK. Not a bad way to go in 2021. You think Miles Sanders is going to be a bust? Where is he being drafted right now? Miles Sanders worries the hell out of me right now, too real, for a lot of reasons. Number one, that offense is going to be suspect in some ways as Hurts gets his feet under him. They'll throw a lot. I think they lose a lot of games. I don't think they're going to be a contender. I believe they don't show Jalen Hurts the support that he needs and say, this is our starter, our guaranteed guy. Like, why not back him? The coaching staff under Peterson last year didn't support Jalen Hurts, and they even took him out of the game and benched him, causing a lot of damage. You don't do that to a rookie quarterback that's your future you're trying to instill confidence in. So what they do? They bench him. They replace Peterson, who didn't use the running back. Miles Sanders had top 10 running back appeal, and everybody said, Smitty, you're crazy for not liking Miles Sanders at 14 overall when I ran for the hills at that value. No way, not on my watch. My people are drafted Miles Sanders at 14 last year. Not going to happen. Doug Peterson ran multiple running backs all the time. It was a running back by committee the moment Doug Peterson was there. And it was going to remain that way until he was gone. Here comes Sirianni. I don't know much about him, to be honest, in terms of like talking about him to the confidence that I would talk about Peterson not delivering for you in your Miles Sanders dreams and making them come true. But Sirianni isn't exactly kicking things off in the right way, in my opinion, because he's not supporting his quarterback. He's the only guy, though. Hurts is going to find a way. But he's not supporting him. He's not calling him the starter. There will be a competition. And I don't know how he's going to use Miles Sanders. So my answer to you is it depends on the value, but very, very much remains some bust potential, especially given that Kenny Gainwell is one of the better PPR backs in the 2021 running back draft class. Give me no shares of Sanders in 2021, not if it's costing me 3rd round value. Good question, though. Najee Harris or Gibson? This is a great question. Gibson's definitely in the news right now. The toe, is he going to be okay? We don't know about the toe. So where do we go with our Gibson show? And the honest truth is I love Gibson still, but Najee Harris I'm drafting ahead of him across the board. Redraft, Dynasty, the leagues with Uncle Benny. Doesn't matter if I think I can get away with Najee later. Najee should be drafted higher, but I love Gibson at the right value. If he falls to 3rd round value, we're going to start cleaning up and taking the risk on this toe injury. I don't care in the 3rd round. I'll do it. Ribeye or filet? This is probably the dumbest question I've ever seen on the show. The answer is both, Kenny. You never turn down a steak. Okay? Ribeye, filet, maybe flat steak. I don't like flat steak, Kenny. No flat steak. Contempt. I love steak, bro. It's my favorite meal. I don't have it enough. Cocoa or fruity? Neither. I go Frosted Flakes, baby. I go, or Marshmallow Rice Krispies. You guys remember Marshmallow Rice Krispies? I told Kellogg's that I would do a live stream saying bring back Marshmallow Rice Krispies, not Rice Krispie treat cereal. We're talking about the old Rice Krispies with the little tiny marshmallows that were all in it. That was the best cereal ever on the face of the earth. I remake that cereal myself. I go get Rice Krispies. I go get the little tiny marshmallows. I dump it in the bag. I shake it like the shake weight. And then I eat myself some homemade, handcrafted Marshmallow Rice Krispies. And I told Kellogg's, you bring those bad boys back, I will do a live stream and say Marshmallow Rice Krispies 10,000 times in a row. Would take me half a day. But I would do it for you. I would do it for me. I would do it for humanity who needs Marshmallow Rice Krispies, because the people, a lot of you young kids don't know what you were missing back in the day, and how anybody on this planet, they must have Doug Peterson controlling that front office at Kellogg's, because how in the hell do you not keep producing Marshmallow Rice Krispies? Do you not take a poll and find out how many people like Marshmallow Rice Krispies before you discontinue the product, Doug? It's ridiculous. Claypool, best pit wide receiver. Matt, at the risk of getting contempt and being called out, you are correct. I like your boldness, young man. I'm out of here. We're overtime. I appreciate all of you. Thank you for joining me for Fantasy Football Court. I'm sorry if I didn't get to all your questions. I tried to get to as many. There's a lot of them being listed. I did not. Oh, I missed a super chat. Hold on. Seclan. My Phoenix brother, keep up the hard work. Love you, bro. Seclan, I appreciate you, pal. You're the man. A man with a plan. I'm sorry I missed your super. Are you still here, Seclan? All right, we're out of here. I appreciate you guys joining me for Fantasy Football Court. I appreciate you joining me for the entire live stream. Don't forget, all my content is all in one place at smitty1.com. So my audio podcast, I drop an audio podcast every single day on the Fantasy Football Show audio pod. So join me every day. I'm going to try and do multiple pods per day. I want to take over the podcast game entirely. All audio, I'm going to take it over. And not to mention, we're getting more people in here for the Tuesday, Thursday show. You can find me here every single Tuesday and Thursday. I'm sick right now. I'm still here. I don't know if you can hear it in my voice. I'm sick. Every Tuesday and Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern to 7 p.m. 2 hours every Tuesday and Thursday for you. And we go live at Saturday night. Follow me on Instagram. I'm shocked at how many people that follow me on YouTube religiously. Like, they're here every show and they don't follow me on IG. Like, I'm as active on Instagram as I am YouTube. In some cases more. My stories are where it's at. I'm telling a story about my day all day long. I show my food, which some people don't like. Some people wait for it all day. I show my food. I show what's going on with Miss Smitty. I show what's going on with little Smitty. I show what's going on in my life on Instagram. On Instagram, The Fantasy Football Show. I'll even shout you out if you follow me. I'm gonna refresh right here and see who's gonna follow me on Instagram real quick while we're live. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna click on my little notifications and I'm gonna see who follows. I will refresh it for the next 1 minute as I speak to you with the last outro song played. Let's roll. Here we go. Who wants a shout out? Who wants a shout out? I'm gonna wait for you. Steve. Appreciate you, Steve. I also want to say that I will be producing consistent videos every single day. I pretty much do. But you're going to get a video a day. You're going to get a podcast a day. And it's going to be crazy from here on out, from now until the beginning of the year. Jack, I appreciate you. And on top of that, don't forget HeySmitty.com. HeySmitty.com is how you order one-on-one text advice with me. My Instagram is The Fantasy Football Show, just like the YouTube channel. YouTube.com/The Fantasy Football Show. And Instagram, search The Fantasy Football Show. I'm refreshing, bro. I'm waiting for you, Kenny. I don't see your follow on Instagram, bro. How are you not following? Kenny, you're going to message me later or chat in here. Smitty, your Instagram's amazing. How have I not been following you on Instagram? How have I not? I go live on Instagram probably at least once a day. You wonder where I'm at when I'm not on YouTube? I'm on Instagram. I'm on Instagram live with all kinds of people. Literally 7 seconds before this show today went live, I was in the middle of a live stream on IG and I had to bail quickly. I was talking with Ryan Hollins, Brendan Haywood, and I'm blanking out on his name. He's a famous comedian. What's his name? Let me see if I can find it. He's a famous comedian. He was in our live stream. What's his name? You guys know comedians? His name is... God, I'm blanking. But I was on a live stream right before I jumped in. Felix, I see you, bro. Ryan Hansen, I see you, bro. I appreciate you guys following. You just signed up, Kenny. Awesome. Everybody, I'm out of here until Tuesday. But, of course, I'm going live probably Saturday night, maybe Sunday. I'll be live all the time. I appreciate you. Later, Ryan, I want you to message me back and tell me how you enjoy the Instagram. Later.